as a percentage of GSDP, revenue receipts and own tax revenues, Punjab's Freebies in Budget financial year 2023 is among the highest in India. Consider the financially weak state of Punjab. It is among the most indebted states and its own tax revenue has been declining over time. Punjab spends over 13% of its revenue expenditure on subsidies, one of the highest. In the same way, many states' policies are creating long-term debt sustainability issues. The top 5 Indian states with the highest debt GSDP ratio in financial year 2022 is Punjab 53.3%, Rajasthan 39.8%, West Bengal 38.8%, Kerala 38.3%, Andhra 37.6%. According to a report by analytical firm CRISIL, most states are in precarious debt situations which will constrain their ability to spend on more significant public welfare measures. Need organizations like Interstate Fiscal Council to monitor spending. There needs to be more discussion around public debt to GDP ratio. States and center can bring out a debt paper every 6 months. Consider the provision of free or subsidized electricity to households. State governments do not put this on the budget. They impose the cost on the electricity distribution companies. This practice has hobbled the entire power sector because discoms are bankrupt and are unable to pay generators for power. This leads to problems for them, which in turn leads to problems for banks that have lent to them. It also forces governments to charge higher rates from industry that affects competitiveness. It is a vicious cycle that is difficult to break. The minimum support price in agriculture distorts the farm economy by incentivizing the planting of crops that have MSPs at the cost of all others. Unsurprisingly, non-MSP produce like vegetables is where food inflation is highest because of supply shortages. Freebies such as these fester outside the public eye. It would be better for governments to give direct subsidies to the poor who cannot afford electricity, or income support to farmers who earn below a certain amount, neither of which would distort entire markets. Senders tax holidays to foreign companies, waiver of bad loans of influential industrialists, and granting of crucial contracts to favored conglomerates should be considered as freebies. The BJP has given freebies to close to 10 lakh crores to corporate cronies through loan waivers, tax breaks. BJP has given freebies to people who probably don't need it. These rich people would probably enjoy it to buy expensive lifestyle. But as per center, aid to the poor is seen as a wasteful expenditure. But low interest rates for corporates to get cheap loans or the SOP of cutting corporate taxes are never criticized. Income tax deduction or exemption and corporate tax reductions could be classified as freebies, but they are also conscious political decisions. When the sender gives incentives to stimulate private investment or states give free land to big companies and announce multi-year tax holidays, questions are not asked as to where the money will come from. Such decisions are rationalized with arguments that corporates create jobs. But corporates can only create jobs if they have a market of buyers for their goods and services. It is difficult to distinguish between freebies and welfare measures in many situations. The midday meal scheme started by Karmaveer Kamarajar and expanded by M.G. Ramachandran in 1982 was first mocked by Delhi, but later in a decade adopted as a national program. N.T. Ramarao's promise of rice ₹2 per kg is the original avatar of the current day national food security program. But an instructive example of freebies turning disastrous in the free power regime pioneered by the Agalidal in the 90s. The free power regimes is a live threat to India's energy and economic security. No revenue is collected for the fifth of the power distributed, and state discoms are losing over ₹75,000 crore a year. 28 of them are in losses and generating indebtedness over 1.09 lakh crores.